very good evening to you. I hope you're well and welcome to What Med Media. I'm Dr. Kishan Rees, and for those of you who aren't aware, I've been going on a biohacking journey to basically counteract and be as fit as possible should I contract COVID-19, which obviously I hope isn't the case. And this video is slightly different today. Firstly, we're going to unbox this, which is the second Airofit device that I've bought. And I'll go through the reasons why that in a second. I wasn't going to talk about the app, so I've put a link in the description. You might have seen yesterday Matt Hancock was very keen at the press conference on horse analogies, in terms of he's from Newmarket, Haymarket, can't quite remember, but it was something about wanting to back both horses. So you might as well just hear straight from the horse's mouth in the link that's above. Because Apple said that it had nothing to do with it. They have no idea about the app, this joint app that they're talking about. So it's going to be really interesting to see what those developments are. But I'm not going to go into it in this video because I think a major part of this, which is really, really important, which I mentioned to you right from the beginning, is just switch off from the TV, switch off from the news and try and do positive, productive things to improve your health, your fitness and your performance. And that's what this is about. The second part of that is a shout out to Cassia Alves, who I have hired to be my virtual PT. She's been involved with doing my brother and my mum and other family members and friends for many years. She knows her stuff. She's really, really good. So from a point of view in terms of supporting local businesses and small businesses, because it's going to be a tough time ahead, I thought I'd put her details in the bio. I didn't ask if I should or could, so hopefully she'll be okay with that. And if you could get in touch with her, I'm sure she'd appreciate it because she knows her stuff. She's really, really good. And I had a session with her today. So from a biohacking perspective, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's basically a case of trying to exploit one's own physiology and biology to try and be as fit as possible, right? And this was a science, this was a discipline that existed way before COVID-19, but I saw it as a way of, as I said, should I contract it, then at least it improves my chances of survival. And also, it was a positive, productive way to spend lockdown, right? So I can't remember, I think I mentioned it in one of the other videos, but I've done something like 1,500 miles now, cycling. I don't know what it is in kilometres, but that's quite a long way. Just a little bit every day, every morning, getting into a routine, hacking my circadian rhythm. So I go to sleep and I knock out and I get up and I'm awake and I'm alert. And the reason that I'm putting this content out and sharing this is because I still know there's lots of people out there that aren't in that fortunate position in terms of processing and handling everything that's going on. So I think it's worth sharing, and I think it's worth chatting and discussing in the comments in terms of what it's like where you are, what you're struggling with, what your questions are, because I will look at the comments and I'll use future content about that, right? So anyway, I got... improved my circadian rhythm, which is your natural sleep-wake cycle. I got quite fit exercising, covering serious distances on the bike, which was good. And I got to a bit of a plateau in terms of what next, what can I do? And that's where I started seeing Facebook adverts for Airofit. So what is Airofit, I hear you ask? Well, I wasn't sure either, but this is the second one of them that I've bought. And I've actually bought this one for my mum because... it's going to help her with her singing, but it might also help from a COVID perspective and a respiratory health point of view. So when you unbox it, it's very sort of Apple-esque. You get the black stuff inside it. And the point of this device is, and I've been training for a week with this one, so that's what it looks like. But I've been training for a week, and it's basically, believe it or not, we do not breathe properly. Humans do not breathe as efficiently and effectively as they could or they should. Because, as I've said before, the human body is absolutely wondrous in terms of the amount of physiological reserve that we've got and the amount of kind of compensation that it does when we're either a little bit unhealthy, we don't eat the right food, we don't sleep enough, we smoke, we drink, whatever, all the bad behaviours that we do, the human body is amazing at compensating. So obviously, with COVID-19, it's a respiratory disease, and there's been lots of videos all over YouTube as well about some orthopaedic surgeons in the States doing some special breathing exercises to see what they can do to help. She was a retired orthopaedic surgeon who actually contracted COVID-19, and she had some good exercises and things. So yeah, I just looked at this and I thought, why not? I did a couple of sessions on it. And also when you set it up, I'll do another setup video as well. When you set it up, it asks you what you want to do. Do you want to do it for meditation? Do you want to do it for sporting performance? Or do you want to do it for singing? So this is the device, and it's got a little thing in here which I thought was great little marketing, where it says, please try not to ignore the other side of this card. So from a general kind of male kind of perspective, I normally try and build things like IKEA furniture without looking at any of the instructions. So I thought that was a good little bit of advertising that I saw on that. And then it says charge for at least 8 hours before use. So I'm going to charge it overnight, and then we're going to do a video, maybe with my mum tomorrow, if you want to meet her. Maybe not, depends if she's brave enough to come on with you guys. And then this thing is broken down essentially in terms of you've got an electronics unit, which is Bluetooth enabled, so it connects with the app on your phone, which is very good, and I'll give you a demo of that tomorrow. And then you've got this thing, which has got a mouthpiece. You also get a spare mouthpiece in the box. And then you've got 2 dials either side in terms of resistance. And that's about it, really. Inside, underneath, I think there's a standard kind of power cable, other bits and bobs, and a little case and a pouch and stuff to put it in. Now, I actually spoke to the CEO of Airofit, a lovely, lovely guy, and his son, who was helping out with the Facebook page. And it's a really interesting story in terms of essentially the CEO of Airofit was a classical singer. So hopefully that will help my mum or Mrs. Reese, as Richard said, very formal. And his son is a swimmer, and it improved his performance, right? So let's see how we go with these. It's great fun, and I'll do an update with you tomorrow once we've charged it, and I'll let you guys go. I'm just wondering whether, just before I go, whether you guys got any questions, what are you guys' thoughts? Tell me what it's like where you are. I'd be really keen to hear what it's like. I appreciate it's worrying. I appreciate it's a case of, every time you go out of the house, it's getting busier now, right? So I still minimise my trips out to the house, out of the house. I was going to go to the Apple shop today, but I cancelled it because I just wiped the iPad instead. Didn't really work, so I might go if I have to, right? But generally, people around me are social distancing, which is good. Yeah, Tracy, I saw the level went down 4 to 3. I saw that. We'll see how quickly it goes up again, if the spikes and the outbreaks elsewhere are to be believed. And also we'll see the effect, if any, of those protests and, mass gatherings in London. So we'll see. But you know what? Ultimately, I think the people at the checkout in the supermarket are quite a good barometer, right? And they were telling me that they're amazed how some people are just completely blasé and gone right back to normal about it, right? Ultimately, I think this is a vicious disease. I think this is something to take very seriously. And I think, you don't have to buy expensive devices like this, right? To try and improve your respiratory physiology. You can just do other breathing exercises as well. But Robert, how can I help with asthma? I think initially, there's a lot of scientific evidence around asthma and COPD patients, interestingly. And then it started off in the health space, and then it moved towards sporting performance, meditation, and singing, right? So I think, this weekend is going to be a washout. Next week is going to be really, really sunny. And I think if you are going out, it's a case of, like we said right at the beginning, being really, really disciplined, going out for what you need. When you go out, don't spend a long time out there. If you can put the phone away, it would be good so you're alert and make sure that you're around. I hate the stay alert, but they're kind of right. The stay alert messaging, because if they are easing lockdown, which they are, when people go out, they do need to stay alert. And obviously, if you've got a phone in your face, then you can't really stay alert. But ultimately, it is a case of wearing masks, as I've been advising for a good few weeks now. It is a case of wearing gloves. It is a case of washing your hands, okay? And the other thing that I would mention, if anyone who watches this video, another good bit of kit, I haven't got it on me, it's actually in the car, but is a pulse oximeter. And I mentioned this in March. that I think a pulse oximeter is a good thing to buy. And it's only about 20-30 quid on Amazon, and there are loads of different ones. And the reason that it's important is because there's a period of silent hypoxia if you do contract COVID-19, where your blood saturation, your oxygen levels drop down, and then you can get quite unwell, but you're actually quite well with it, right? So you're physiologically, your oxygen levels are going down, but you don't appear to be in any problem or distress, right? So a pulse oximeter is a good way of measuring that. They had a professor of emergency medicine of 30 years experience from New York on BBC Radio 4 on the 22nd of April. And he was saying that we should see the pulse oximeter akin to a thermometer when we're kind of treating patients with COVID and assessing them. So that's true. So the last question I saw was, which mask, face coverings would you recommend? I think, there is a lot of stuff to say that you can make homemade ones with 3 layers of cotton. Hey, Candy, hope you're well. 3 layers of cotton, etc. Okay. I don't know where my one is. Let's put it down somewhere. I'll put it in the bag with the papers. Where did I put that? Lost it. I'll show you later. Oh, no, that might be over here. Hold on. Let me just go and get this. So, I've gone through a few of these now because, as I said, I've been wearing them since... March, don't know, quite early anyway. So the ones that I would suggest, and what I use, and I think they're quite good, are ones that have these little filters inside, which you can change, and then little plastic things that you can undo, and then goes onto that, and then round, and on this. And I think the important thing is it fits right all the way around, and it has a good seal. I don't like it because I've got a deficiency. The cartilage is a bit weak. So I do that because I don't want it to have a complete jug ear. But these are the masks that I use. These are the masks that I've got for my family. I agree, they're not exactly cheap, and I get that, and that's why face coverings will do a good job as well. But then also it's a case of minimising trips out, essential trips out, plan them, keep them as quick as you can. Do everything possible within your power to keep fit. If you can lose a bit of weight, I'm practicing what I preached. I was 89 kilos in January, so I think I'm 78 now. So it's just about 12 kilos, almost 2 stone. Because if you are obese, if you are overweight, and you can contract COVID-19, it ravages you. The other stuff that I would say and suggest is in terms of, yes, there's a lot of hoo-ha and fanfare about dexamethasone, which is obviously, it's positive, right? Don't get me wrong. But it's only for it's only at the moment shown an improvement in severely ill patients that are on ventilators. And my suggestion to you guys is you do not want to contract this, and you don't want to get to that point. Because even if dexamethasone helps you get off a ventilator, what that ventilator does to your lungs, unfortunately means that you're not going to be the same person that comes off the ventilator that went on it in many cases. So I think let's just see how it goes in terms of the numbers. Are they going to increase? And okay, Robert, enjoy the music lesson. And thanks. I'm glad you found it useful. So let's see how the numbers go. For me, I'm just sitting tight. Yes, I know Richard as well. So I've kind of got that as well. But anyway, I'm just sitting tight. I'm just waiting. I'm just seeing. I want to see what the numbers do, and I want to see how people behave. And whenever I do leave the house, I make sure that I'm in outside clothes, I have gloves on, I have a mask on, I have alcohol gel. When I come in, I get rid of those clothes and take all those sort of sensible precautions. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that interesting. You may well get to meet Mrs. Reese tomorrow if you are, if she wants to, I don't know, we'll see. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely evening, a lovely weekend, and I will catch up with you guys really, really soon. Just before I go, crowdfunding update, we hit £1,000. I completely forgot. So I upped it to £1,500. So thank you so much for everybody who's donated. I haven't got a proper list yet, but I will do one. We've hit £1,000 for Facebook ads. I'm not taking anything from it at all. My time is free. The data I pay for anyway. I've got all the kit, and I'm spending my time researching COVID-19, more specifically in the media, from a point of view of the MD that I'm writing, right? So it's all this work that's just happening in the background that I'm doing. But I decided to crowdfund for disease awareness for COVID-19 to fund this kind of content. And we've hit £1,000. So I'm incredibly grateful. I'll come back to you with some updates in terms of what the that crowdfunding has spent in terms of reach. But we have hit £500,000. So, sorry, £500,000. I wish that would be a good crowdfund. We've hit 500,000 people. We've hit £1,000. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you guys really, really soon. Thank you.